नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तन हृद्यन्तस्तो अभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सुताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमो पंकजांग्रये नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
प्रभु जी सब्जी को दही की कट्टी में डाल दो जो 5 किलो की कट्टी आती है।
So in our sessions till now, we discussed about many things like Vaishno songs and Braj Leelas, Krishna Leelas, and Prasad, importance of Prasad, what is Prasad, some details. And there is one more aspect. In Kali Yuga, basically, two things work very powerfully. That is Harinam and Mahaprasad. But both of them should be technically done correctly. It may appear externally sometimes that what we are doing is okay, but many times our assumptions may be wrong. Like I hope when you heard about the Mahaprasad 3 sessions we had, you might have understood that a lot of things need to be known regarding Mahaprasad. Similarly, a lot of things need to be known about Harinam. Like Prabhupada said, 99% of our spiritual advancement depends on our chanting. Which means chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra should not be just like a technical act. Otherwise, there is no difference between chanting by a tape recorder and ourselves. In other words, it is called parrot, like a parrot. Like a parrot. And also along with chanting comes deity worship, although it is not the Yuga Dharma. But deity worship is basically for temples. Very strict standards are followed in ISKCON temples. Should be followed. Some temples may not be able to do because of their not being very big temples, maybe not being very rich, whatever maximum standard of deity worship can be followed according to Prabhupada's instruction. You can see in ISKCON deity worship, people say that in ISKCON we like basically three things. If you ask people what they like about ISKCON. One is prasad. The second is kirtan, Harinam Kirtan. And the third is the Shringar of the deities, the deity worship, standard of the deity worship. So basically all these three things are done nicely in ISKCON. So deity worship, and deity worship then comes darshan. Because deity worship and Shringar and all that, then finally people come to see the deities. It's called darshan. So the main aspect of deity worship, although yes, it is worship and everything, but then for all the general mass and the general population is darshan. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter 16, and text number 44. 6, 16, 44. Maharaj Chitraketu, when he meets the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so he is saying, Nahi Bhagavan Ghatitamidam Tvadarsanan Ranam Akhila Papakshaya Yannama Sat Krishna Vanat Ukkashopi Vimuchyate Samsara. O Supreme Lord, just by your darshan, just by seeing you, anyone can be free from all the sinful acts. Just by your darshan, not only by your darshan, but even by the chanting of your holy name or hearing of your holy name, the person in the lowest class of Chandal can also be free from all his sins. In such situation, when such a facility is available, who is the person who doesn't want to be free from the sins? So this is very good facility available according to Maharaj Chitraketu. When he meets Krishna, he is glorifying Krishna. That just by seeing you, anyone and everyone can be free from all the sins he has performed. Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. So surrender is of many types. Surrender means when you glorify. That is also one kind of surrendering your mood. You appreciate or glorify someone. So that is good. But actually what darshan, what is the main aspect of darshan? Main aspect of darshan is not just going and looking at Krishna, oh, what a beautiful garland he has, what a nice flower he has in his ears, and in the top of the turban in the right side of the corner, such a nice ruby or jewel is there. Yes, that is, of course, that is darshan. Seeing the beauty of Krishna is a part of darshan. But the main aspect of darshan is communication. When you come in face to face with someone, if there is no communication, basically it is not going to help in a good way. Like you have some trouble for health issues. You go to the best doctor of the world. People wait maybe for months to get an appointment. 6 months, you get an appointment after 6 months. And you go to the doctor and just look at the doctor. What a wonderful tie he has, what wonderful buttons he has on his coat. And he has such a nice specs, wonderful specs. And his hairstyle is so nice. His hairstyle is so nice. So you look at him, you appreciate his beauty and come back. So yes, you had darshan of the doctor. One aspect of darshan is completed, but the purpose for which you wanted to meet him didn't even initiate. Since you had some health issue for which you had to meet the topmost doctor of the world, for which you got an appointment after struggling for 6 months, and then you go and you say, you see how beautiful his shirt color is, and how beautiful his cabin is, and how beautiful his table was, and you do this, you meet him every day, and for the next 20 years you just do that. Every day you just go and say how beautiful his table is. Oh, today his table has a blue cloth over it, tomorrow it has a pink cloth over it, today he has. So of course one aspect of darshan is complete. Finally, what is the use of meeting such a great person when you actually have health issues which he can solve? Just by darshan means there should be communication, and not communication means not a communication of some like casual communication. It's not casual communication like, oh, how was the football match yesterday? Oh, that was wonderful. I could see only after the half time. After that, I had to come to the clinic. I didn't see what happened. What happened? So not some casual and nonsense communication. Sensible to the point communication is very important. So what happens is basically is we miss this point of darshan. Most of the devotees, they will come, there are so many different types of levels of darshan. Some will just come to the temple, look at the altar, look here, look there, click some pictures, click some selfies, click some family photos, and say, oh, looks good, feels good. Some will come and will stand in front of the deities, and they think they are embracing the deities like this. They will feel that. They will feel like this. They will so many different things. If you observe people having darshan, so I don't know. Means I am not on that level to go and stand in front of the deities and think that I'm embracing Krishna. But some devotees do it. So that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Everyone has his own levels and understandings. We have no objection. No one should have any objection regarding that. But as I said, the main aspect of darshan, the communication, sensible, useful communication is very important. And sensible, useful communication comes when you open your heart. Sensible, useful communication also could be many types. But the essence of the darshan is opening up your heart to Krishna. Opening up your inner thoughts to Krishna, which you may not be able to open in front of anyone else most of the times. Or there may be a few, one or two very, very good Shiksha gurus you may have, where you can open up your heart confidentially. The opening of the heart should remain confidential with the person. Not that he immediately after he hears your story, he puts it on the Facebook. Or so it's on a public platform. So communication has to be sensible, confidential, and useful. Opening up your heart to Krishna, and if you have some confidential, sensible Shiksha Guru, that is actually darshan. So darshan, one of the aspect of darshan is admiring the beauty of Krishna. That is that, of course. So that may be the initial stage. One is attracted towards Krishna because of that, because Krishna looks very beautiful. So you feel so good when you look at him, when he's smiling or whatever gestures. So in this way, at least a person is attracted to come face to face to Krishna again and again and again, to have a look at Krishna. But finally, someday communication has to start. And initially the communication may start with desires, selfish desires. Oh, I want this, I want that. Please, I'm in this problem. Please solve my problem. Please free me from this problem. So initially communication can start like this, where you are just bothered about yourself. It is selfish agenda. But anyhow, slowly, a person, when he keeps coming in front of Krishna, along with darshan, is chanting Krishna's names, and he starts chanting Krishna's name. He wants to connect to Krishna more and more. So then, along with darshan, there is Krishna's name, and then there is another attraction called Mahaprasad. So in this way, one is the way one gets entangled into the material world, one can get entangled into Krishna consciousness. So the more and more you get entangled into Krishna consciousness, the more and more you get free from the material world. It's as simple as this. So we have to get ourselves entangled more and more into Krishna consciousness by different aspects of devotional life. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam, Iti Punsarpita Vishnu, Bhaktische Navalakshana. So this is Prahlad Maharaj instructing his father, Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu inquires from Prahlad, "Oh, my dear son, please let me know what you studied in your school. You are already going to school for a few months. What is the best thing you learned in school?" And then Prahlad, this is what Prahlad told Hiranyakashipu. The best thing I learned in the last few months during my school time is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam, Iti Punsarpita Vishnu, Bhaktische Navalakshana. That is 9 different aspects of devotion. And Hiranyakashipu was so angry. He said, "How can you glorify Vishnu in front of me? Who is Vishnu?" And Hiranyakashipu basically wanted that everyone should glorify him. It was Shravanam, Kirtanam, Hiranyakashipu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Hiranyakashipu. That was his agenda. And his own son was a rebellious. He was not following that, and he was other way around promoting the opposite party. He was promoting the opposite party. So finally, Hiranyakashipu decides to kill Prahlad, and he tries to kill Prahlad in many different ways. By putting him in boiling oil and dropping him in a well of snakes, poisonous snakes, throwing him down a cliff from a mountain cliff, throwing him amidst mad elephants who can crush him like chutney. So many different ways. But somehow or the other, Prahlad was not affected in any way. Finally, even he tried to burn Prahlad in fire by taking help from his sister Holika. So Hiranyakashipu's sister's name is Holika. And this Holika, she had a boon. She had a benediction that fire cannot burn her. Fire cannot burn her. So Hiranyakashipu said to her that what we'll do is we'll make up a pile of wooden logs. You sit on them with Prahlad in your lap, small Prahlad in your lap, and we will set this afire. So in the fire, Prahlad will die, and because you have the boon that you are not affected by fire, fire cannot have any effect on you. You can just walk out of the fire later on once Prahlad is killed. See, this is how the demons are treating their own son. His own sister is helping him. So demoniac. Can you imagine your father and the sister of your father trying to kill you? Can you imagine this? You are staying with them in the same house, and every day they are trying to kill you, and still you continue to stay there. You don't want to run away. This is terrible. So this plan, but the problem in the plan was that when they set afire all these wooden logs, after some time, Bhakta Prahlad, the child Prahlad, came out walking, and Hiranyakashipu realized that Holika is burnt to ashes. He was so surprised. She had a boon, that she will not burn in fire. But just because she wanted to kill a pure devotee, Mahajan, Prahlad Maharaj, her boon didn't function in front of the power of devotional power of Prahlad. And she died. And Prahlad came out walking out of the fire. And that's when Hiranyakashipu took it very seriously. Like, what is this? If my sister, who has a boon of not getting affected in the fire, gets burned, and he's coming out walking, like walking out of some snow or some, like, without any effect of the fire. This is now I should be very serious about this. And that is why he challenged. He said, where do you get all this power from? Like, how you're just a small child, you're not afraid of me? I'm such a powerful person, all the demigods are afraid of me, the Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Maruta, and this and that. Surya. Hiranyakashipu, he was such a terror, he would order the demigods. The demigods didn't want to give him many favors, basically, because he was such a demonly person. But he was such a terror, he would order the demigods that this year, in all my land or my jurisdiction, this is the quantity of rainfall which should have. You order the earth that this is the quantity of grains you should produce. This is the quantity of, like this, jewels and rubies, and this should be produced by the mountains. Can you imagine a person who has such powers? He's ordering the rain god, he's ordering the Mother Earth, he's ordering that how much grains his kingdom should get this time, how much rain his kingdom should get this time. And the demigods would do it out of fear. Oh, Hiranyakashipu wants this. Otherwise, he would throw them out of their loka, out of their management positions. No need you to. I don't need you as managers because you are not doing what I am saying. This is Hiranyakashipu's power. Such a powerful person. He was managing the demigods. And out of the fear of Hiranyakashipu, they were doing it. So Prahlad, he said, how are you not afraid of me? What kind of power you have, and from where do you get this power, this strength to oppose a person like me? When the rest of the Brahmanda, anyone in the Brahmanda, rest of the Brahmanda is trembling in fear just by my name, just by Hiranyakashipu's name, people would tremble. Forget about Hiranyakashipu coming in face to face with you. So Prahlad said, the same person who gives you power, who has made you powerful, the same person gives me also the power. And then Hiranyakashipu was shocked. He said, how can someone give me power? I am powerful. I am supposed to give power to others. I am giving powers to demigods to do this, that, and ordering them this and that. And how can someone give me power? And the same person is giving you power. And who is that person? Same person. Same person who is giving me power, giving you power. This is simple to understand. Forget about giving us power or something like that. But basically, if you see, everything in our body is managed by Krishna, is not managed by us. We don't have powers to manage that. You don't have powers to manipulate that. Like your breathing, your blood circulation, your digestion of food, anything. The sensation of hunger, thirst, sensation of pain. hearing, seeing, everything. Not a single act you can perform on your own. It is said everything, even if you have to move your hand, there is Krishna here in some form. Different names are there. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita. The one who is digesting is called Vaishwanara. So Krishna is there in ways. You move your hands, that particular Krishna, I don't remember for that what name it is and what name is for vision and what name is. So he's present. Krishna is present in your eyes. In some, the name is there. There is some name for that Krishna. Krishna is present in your ears. There is some name for that Krishna. And just because he is there, you can hear. He is there, you can see. He is there, you can eat, you can smell, you can digest. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Daham Ashrita. So in Jathara, for digestion, he is situated in Jathara, is Krishna is saying. So he just gives one example that I am digesting the food which you are eating. He doesn't relate to everything in Bhagavad Gita, blood circulation, the vision, the breathing, and this and that, the liver and the bile juice and so many things I don't. Gallbladder. How many of us have heard the name gallbladder? How many of us we know the cerebral hemisphere? Krishna is there everywhere, managing everything. The voice, speaking power, this is Krishna. So Krishna is managing everything in everyone's body. The moment just Krishna decides to take a leave or just stop working, you will be dumb. However you try, just by moving your lips, you cannot speak. Just because you have something looking like a ear doesn't mean you can hear. So Krishna is there everywhere. So that Krishna is giving power for everything basically, just to power to hear, speak and smell and this and that, the blood circulation, the heartbeat and pumping. Who is doing that? Can any living entity in the creation, any single living entity in the creation can claim that I am doing the blood circulation in my body, I am managing the breathing, I am managing the heartbeats, I am managing the digestion? Do you even know how the food is digested? Do you even know how you are breathing? Do you even know how you can see and speak and do you even know how your brain works? The scientists don't know anything of this. Do you know the composition of the blood? The scientists don't know how to make a duplicate eye. If your eye has problem, they can put a duplicate. No. They are thinking of making a living entity, life. They want to create life. First you create a part, an organ. Can you forget about eye? It is a lively thing. Can scientists create nails exactly as it is? Nails, hair? No, they can make by some synthetic process, plastics, this, that. But exactly as it is. See, scientists know the composition of the nail. They know the composition of the hair. How much, what kind of chemicals, in what percentage, how it is like that, this, that. So nails and hairs are dead matter of the body. They cannot even create that. Can you create in laboratory exactly urine? What kind of scientist you are? You cannot create hair and nails exactly as it is. You cannot create a mango or a coconut exactly as it is in factories. Forget about creating a life. You can create some plastic flower which doesn't give smell. And that also with a formula same, all the flowers will be same color, same everything. Krishna is giving so much variety. And we have so much ego that I can create a fake flower. So this is basically material world is all fake. It is all illusion. That's what is called illusion. Urdhvamulam madhashakam ashwatham prahuram vayam. This is illusion. 15th chapter, first shloka, Bhagavad Gita. So basically, this is all illusion. So Krishna is giving power to every living entity to perform different things. The same portion of soil, it's the same portion of soil. You plant a lemon seed, it will give you lemon fruit, which is sour. You plant a mango seed, it will give you mango, which is sweet. You plant a coconut, it will give you coconut with water and cream from the same portion of the soil. Not that coconut needs a different soil, mango needs a different soil. Not like that. Can scientists create some factory? They take a lump of soil, and from the lump of soil, same lump of soil, they can create one apple, one coconut, one guava, one carrot, one green peas from the same lump of soil. First, you create that, then you can create life. If you can create that, what big stories and big things you are telling? We'll do this, we are doing this, vaccine for virus, this and that. Nonsense. Just cheating public. We don't need a vaccine for virus. Just drink lemon juice every day and Mossambi juice and coconut water and this and that and eat nice ghee. Previously, the Vedic food or the lunch or dinner, everything was properly planned. What items should be there in your plate every day so that you will be healthy. You will not suffer from some bacteria, virus, this, that, mineral deficiencies, iron deficiencies, this, that, calcium deficiencies. No, you will never have that. Just because we are doing all nonsense things now, cooking in a nonsense way, the ingredients are nonsense, everything is problem. Then, so that's why this is problem. We are falling sick because prasad is not proper. So basically, Prahlad says the same person who is giving you power is giving me power. So finally, Hiranyakashipu says, okay, who is that? He says, Vishnu. Again, this Vishnu. Where is this Vishnu? Show me. If he is giving power to us, he should be somewhere. He has to give. From where he is giving, how he is giving, I want to see the process. I want to see him. How I can believe that he is giving us the power without. Where is he? He was angry. He was in this mood, in this tempo. Where is he? Is he in the pillar? In this pillar? Prahlad looked at the pillar. Prahlad looked at the pillar, and Prahlad could see Narsingadev inside the pillar, standing inside the pillar, ready to jump out. Even before Narsingadev came out of the pillar, Prahlad had his darshan. That is darshan. Hiranyakashipu could not see. Hiranyakashipu could not see. Hiranyakashipu could not see Narsingadev. But when Prahlad looked at the pillar, he saw Narsingadev, he saw Narsingadev standing there ready, and he saw Narsingadev in this form, and he was, oh, my Supreme Lord is already there. And Narsingadev, just by allowing Prahlad to see him in this way, that is Narsingadev's mercy. So Narsingadev, by allowing Prahlad to see him in this way, this manner, as if he was indicating Prahlad that what are you afraid of? Look, I am here. Just tell him I am here. Tell him, yes, Vishnu is there. Only then Prahlad could say with full confidence that yes, he is in this pillar also. Can you or me say that? Everyone is sitting in front of their laptops and mobile phones, maybe looking, watching or hearing my lecture. So if I ask you, is Vishnu in your laptop or in your mobile phone? Technically, we will say yes, 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 he is there, he is everywhere. So he is in the laptop, he is in the mobile phone, he is in this key, he is in the lock, he is in my nails, in hair, he is So he's everywhere. Yes, so he's there. But if someone is standing in front of you and asking you, is Krishna in this laptop? And he has a sword. And if you say yes, if you say no, he will kill you. If you say yes, he slashes the laptop into 4 parts. And if Krishna doesn't appear, he will kill you. What to do? For you to say, yes, Krishna is there, Krishna should assure you that, yes, I am here. Tell him that I am here. That is the assurance Krishna gives you. That is what happens with a pure devotee. That is real darshan of Krishna. That is when you come to a stage when you can have real darshan of Krishna. So, as I said, Prahlad could see Narasimhadev inside the pillar, standing and ready to jump out, just to accept the challenge of Hiranyakashipu and protect Prahlad and make Prahlad's words true. And so Prahlad, when he saw, oh, my Supreme Lord is there, he said, yes, he is in the pillar also. So Hiranyakashipu slashed the pillar. And initially there was just a tumultuous roaring sound. Hiranyakashipu moved behind, like few steps behind. He was also frightened. So just cracking the universe shell. We cannot imagine. One time I went to a long time, 10 years back or maybe more than that. So there was this very jet fighter from Russia, Sukhoi jet fighter. Now India has Rafale. But Sukhoi jet fighter, it was like, I was in the airport and they were having some demonstration shows. And it was just like few feet from the ground, maybe like 50 feet or 100 feet from the ground. And then it turned like this vertical and it went straight up. And the sound it made at that time, I reminded, like, oh my God, this could be rumbling sound like this. Yes, this is something which we can compare with Narasimhadev, which we can compare with Narasimhadev. So, roaring sound. This is what is darshan. Darshan means you can, like Prabhupada, someone asked Prabhupada, have you seen Krishna? So Prabhupada said, I can see Krishna every moment of my life. So I can see Krishna every moment. That is darshan. In India, you will see some people advertising some religious or holy babas. Oh, this is a great baba, this is a great religious person. He had darshan of Ganesh in 1984. He had darshan of Ganesh in 1984. And after that till 2020, what? What after that for 36 years? 36 years, what they are doing? They are playing hide and seek. Oh, this Baba, he had darshan of Hanuman. Prabhupada, if you listen, this is darshan. I can see Krishna every moment in my life. And Krishna says the same thing in 6th chapter in Gita. Yomam pashyati sarvatra maicha sarvatra pashyami tasyaham na pranashyati sacha na me pranashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha na me pranashyati. So anyone who can see me everywhere all the time, and anyone who can see everything in me all the time, for such a person I am never lost, and such a person is never lost to me. That means you are in constant connection with Krishna, in constant touch with Krishna. That is what Prabhupada's position was. That is his statement means that. And Prabhupada writes in one of the purports in Srimad Bhagavatam that pure devotees, they stay connected to Krishna through their service. Basically, connection to Krishna is through service. Darshan and all this, finally, darshan and communication and this and that. Finally, what do? is service, seva. So, yo mam cha avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Krishna is saying in Gita. Bhakti yogena sevate means serving with love and devotion. Yo mam cha avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. This is one shloka in Gita. I think 11th chapter or something. So, yo mam cha avyabhicharena. Avyabhicharena means, vyabhichar means to flirt with many people of opposite sex. That is vyabhichar. Avyabhichar means to stick to one. So, yo mam cha avyabhicharena, one who just sticks to me only and doesn't flirt out here and there. Sometimes he's romancing with Hanuman, and sometimes he's romancing with Ganesh, and sometimes he's romancing with Durga, and sometimes he's romancing with Shani Dev, and sometimes he comes to Krishna. Yo mam cha avyabhicharena. Not like a prostitute, like stick to one. Bhakti yogena sevate. Just sticks to me, and what does he do? Sticks to one doesn't mean just you embrace Krishna and stay like this lifelong, eternally. Oh, I just want to be in the embrace of Krishna. Nothing else. I just want to sleep on the laps of Krishna. Nothing else. Just I feel safe and secure. No, bhakti yogena sevate. You have to serve with love and devotion. So finally, service is the most important thing. And by serving, because we are not in a position to serve Krishna. So we serve the deities and we serve the Vaishnavas. And we try to communicate with Krishna through the deities, just like that. So by serving Vaishnavas and by serving the deities, we are training ourselves to train Krishna personally when we come face to face to him. Vaishnavas who have streamlined their desires with Krishna. Once someone's desires are streamlined with Krishna, then this person's desires are same like Krishna's desires. And then when you serve such a person like Prabhupada, it is as good as serving Krishna. That's why it is said one has to consider his guru on the level of Krishna, because his desires and Krishna's desires are streamlined. His only desire is to fulfill Krishna's desire. So that is how basically finally darshan will come down to service. As I said initially, it will be just like, oh, wonderful this, that, wonderful flowers, wonderful flute. Then it may come down to some selfish demands. Give me a car, free me from this problem, free me from that problem. Then darshan may come down to communication, some sensible communication. Oh, Krishna, please try to help me control my anger. Please try to, this person. Finally, you have to come down to service. Yo mam cha avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya. Again, Krishna is saying in Gita, at least 100 shlokas Krishna is saying, just by bhakti you can achieve me. Only by bhakti, not just. Only by bhakti you can achieve me, not any other process. And bhakti means basically devotional service. So after See, there will be many devotees are studious. They're studying so many scriptures. It's good about it. Nothing wrong about it. Study. One should study the scriptures. But after studying, what is the final conclusion? You have to serve. Someday you will understand that you have to serve. Even if you are not very intelligent, or if you don't have a lot of knowledge, doesn't make a lot of difference. Basically, you have to serve. So why not serve from today? What is there the need to study for 25 years and then start serving? First, let me finish Bhagavatam. Yeah, of course. You have to read Bhagavatam. As I said, studying is necessary. But just studying is not necessary. I will just study, 2 hours in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening, and just have prasad 2 times, and we cannot do anything else. We are just studying. We are Bhagavatam Vidyalaya, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Sadachar, Bhakti Vaibhav. When will you serve, my dear sir? Of course, as I said, knowledge is important. By knowledge, your many things will be clear, realized, this, that. You can use this knowledge in preaching. But if you are not serving, this knowledge will make you proud. Service makes one humble. And then if you try to serve in a selfless manner without expecting anything in return, there should not be any concept that I will get this by serving Krishna. That thought should not be there, basically. Forget about actually getting something. And then if you are serving without any pride and envy, if you are serving in a pure manner, without envy, without pride, and without any selfish motives, then automatically all good qualities and all knowledge will come to you. There is no need to read a lot of things. Try to maximize your service and try to maximize the purity of service. Then you will develop all good qualities like tolerance, patience, and everything will come. Because service means, as I said, should be like a slave. No demands, no complaints, no selfless motives, hidden motives, no pride, no anger, no envy. Someone will abuse you, someone will defame you, someone will kick you, someone may even spit on your face. And in such a situation, if you remember, Trunadapi Suni Chena Tarorapi Sahishnunam Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari, then at least you realize something. Like one I was hearing, my brother was telling me there was one devotee who read about Krishna, so many things, like this new devotee from Germany. He read about Krishna, he went to ISKCON temple, then he read about Vrindavan. And when people, I have seen, because I am doing guide seva here in Vrindavan, many people, when they come first time in Vrindavan, they have a very rosy picture about Vrindavan, because reading from the scriptures, these forests and creepers of different flowers and fruits and juices, sweet juicy fruits, this and that, and kundas and Yamuna, and they think it is like heaven. And when they land here and come to Vrindavan, oh my God, there are pigs and hogs and donkeys and black, slushy, greasy drainage water going here and there. To walk through them, to go through different temples, no proper roads. Even if you bring the best of the cars of the world you bring in Vrindavan, and you drive in that car in Vrindavan, you will get a feel of riding in a bullock cart. So, and the hygiene and the cleanliness standard, my God. So anyhow, I'm not. So this is the situation in Vrindavan. People don't know this, and there are pure devotees in Vrindavan. You should serve them, this, that, and they come here and they get cheated. People rob them of their money. They get cheated. Someone steals their mobile phone. The monkey takes away their specs and their wallet and the purse. They cannot trust anyone. The fruit wala sells them apples for 2,000 rupees a kg. The actual price is 100 rupees a kg. You say, my God, what I read about Vrindavan, what is happening here? So he read so much rosy, gloomy descriptions of Vrindavan. Actually, they were true. All this was true 5,000 years back when Krishna was here. This is not that. So that was true. That is true picture of Vrindavan. But not the current situation. Devotees will come, they will offer their pranams and to any beggar sitting on the parikrama marg, looking like sadhus who are smoking bidis and drugs. They think everyone sitting on the street in Vrindavan with saffron clothes and a dadi jata is a sadhu. Oh Baba, please bless me, please bless me. What is it? What? You don't have trust on Prabhupada? Why do you need some another person's blessings when you have Prabhupada with you? Do you think his blessings are more stronger than Prabhupada? Then leave ISKCON, join him. Sit with him on the parikrama marg. Sheer nonsense by devotees. When you have Prabhupada and Krishna behind you, what is the need to go to someone else? This is where you fail in Krishna's test. Prabhupada sees you don't have trust in him. You need to go here and there. You need to tie some threads. You need to tie some this. For what you need this thread? This thread is going to protect you when you have Prabhupada, when you have Prabhupada's teachings, when you have the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Going to Radha Kund here, there are some Babaji, this, that, and ask him. Yes, yeah, there are pure devotees, but not any Tom and Dick on the street is a pure devotee in Vrindavan. Tom and Harry and Dick also. So one has to be very careful not to take darshan of such peoples. So, yo mam cha vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Krishna is saying, just stick to me. Bhakti yogena sevate. So service is very important. Service is the mood of Golok Vrindavan. Golok Vrindavan, no one is having a japmala and bead bag and 16 rounds and chanting. In Golok Vrindavan, you don't see that. On Krishna Leela, you don't see. Gopis are every day morning, Brahma Muhurta, they wake up and they chant 16 or 64 rounds. Nanda Maharaj is chanting, Yashoda is chanting, Gopis are chanting, Gopas are chanting, everyone is chanting throughout the day. They were not taught, no one preached to them, you have to follow four regulative principles, no meditating, no. Subal is saying to Stoka, hey Stoka, no meditating. Hey Baba, no intoxication. No. This is not Vrindavan mood. All these things are not necessary in Vrindavan because you are already highly elevated. You have even lost taste for the opposite sex. That means you have developed a distaste for that. And how, I'll tell you how you develop a distaste for that. Would you like to lick the black, slushy, greasy water running down the streets of Vrindavan? Would you like to lick that? No one in the world would like to do that, at least a human being. Put his mouth in that. The hogs and the pigs are putting their mouths in this gutter water. And they are trying to squeeze out some rasa from there also. Sex in material world is nothing better than that. It is this licking, this slushy, greasy, blackish, stinking water which runs down normally in Vrindavan streets, in old Vrindavan streets where there are these temples and everything like that. I'm sorry for today's straightforward and harsh words, but this is my realizations which I had in the last few, maybe 1 year or something like that, which has helped me elevate to a very good level in Krishna consciousness. and somehow I shared them with you. Take it in a proper mood. If you accept that in a proper mood, and if you try to understand what I said, I hope it will help all of you also in progressing in spiritual life. So as I said, we today briefly spoke about the darshan aspect. Darshan is very important, and finally, as I said, the darshan should culminate into service. So service to Krishna and service to qualified Vaishnavas, and service to general populace also by distributing prasadam, distributing books. By distributing books, we are serving them also, because we are giving them an opportunity to become a devotee. And guide according to our own level. We guide and help others, and we take guidance from the superiors, good shiksha gurus. Try to find good shiksha gurus, and try to progress in devotional life. The more you entangle yourself in Krishna consciousness, the more you will be freed from the material entanglement. This is simple, as I said. So thank you very much. Thank you for tolerating all my harsh speech today. The intention was not to create pain to anyone, but just for you all to realize the seriousness and the gravity of the subject or the topic. Thank you very much. If anyone has any questions or anything, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.